The vastness of space stretched before Captain Sarah Chen as she stood on the bridge of the U.S. Goliath, Earth's first interstellar supercarrier. The massive view screen flickered to life, revealing a sea of stars punctuated by the looming silhouette of an alien mothership. Sarah's grip tightened on the command console, her knuckles turning white as she surveyed the scene before her. "Status report," she barked, her voice steady despite the tension that crackled through the air like electricity. "All systems operational, Captain," Lieutenant Rodriguez responded, his fingers flying over the holographic displays. "Shields at maximum capacity. Weapons hot and ready." Sarah nodded, her mind racing through the events that had led them to this moment. Just 6 months ago, humanity had made first contact with the Zarki, an advanced alien race that had arrived in Earth's solar system without warning. Initial attempts at communication had failed, and their intentions remained a mystery. As panic spread across the globe, world leaders made the unprecedented decision to unveil their secret weapon, the Goliath. The supercarrier was a testament to human ingenuity and determination. Built in secret over the course of 2 decades, it represented the pinnacle of Earth's technological achievements. Now, as Sarah gazed at the alien vessel that dwarfed even the Goliath, she couldn't help but wonder if it would be enough. "Captain," a voice called out, breaking through her reverie. "We're receiving a transmission from the alien ship." Sarah's heart raced as she gave the order to put it on screen. The image of the stars was replaced by the face of a Zarki, its iridescent skin shimmering in the light of its own bridge. Its multiple eyes blinked in rapid succession as it regarded the human crew. "Beings of Earth," the alien's voice resonated through the speakers, a mix of clicks and whistles that the ship's advanced translation software struggled to interpret. "Your presence here is unexpected. We had not anticipated encountering a species capable of interstellar travel in this sector." Sarah stepped forward, her chin raised in defiance. "We are full of surprises," she replied, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's hopes and fears. "We come in peace, but we are prepared to defend ourselves if necessary. What are your intentions in our system?" The alien's expression shifted, its facial tentacles writhing in what Sarah could only assume was amusement or curiosity. "Your bravery is admirable, Captain, but you are like children playing with fire. The galaxy is vast and filled with dangers you cannot comprehend." As the alien spoke, Sarah noticed movement on the tactical display. Smaller ships were emerging from the mothership, their energy signatures pulsing ominously. She signaled silently to her crew, and they responded with practiced efficiency, adjusting shields and weapon alignments. "We may be new to the galactic stage," Sarah countered, her voice growing stronger with each word, "but we are quick learners. We faced extinction-level events, global wars, and countless other challenges. Each time, we've emerged stronger. We're not here to play games or to be patronized. We're here to claim our place among the stars." The alien's eyes narrowed, and for a moment, Sarah feared she had overplayed her hand. Then, to her surprise, the creature's mouth parts curved into what could almost be described as a smile. "Perhaps," it mused, "we have underestimated you humans. Your species intrigues us. We came seeking resources, but we may have found something far more valuable." Sarah's mind raced with the implications of the alien's words. What did they mean by more valuable? Were humans to be studied, exploited, or worse? She opened her mouth to respond, but before she could utter a word, alarms blared across the bridge. "Captain," Lieutenant Rodriguez shouted, his face pale. "Multiple energy spikes detected. They're powering up their weapons." Sarah's training kicked in as she spun to face her crew. "Battle stations. Prepare for evasive maneuvers. And get me a direct line to Earth Command. We need to warn them." Her words were cut short as the first volley of alien fire streaked past the Goliath, illuminating the bridge in a blinding flash of purple light. As the ship rocked under the near miss, Sarah realized that this was just the beginning. The true test of humanity's resolve was about to unfold, and the fate of Earth hung in the balance. The Goliath shuddered as another blast of alien energy grazed its hull. Sarah gripped her command chair, her mind racing through tactical options. "Return fire," she ordered, her voice steady despite the chaos erupting around her. "Target their weapon systems. Let's show them what Earth can do." As the supercarrier's advanced weaponry roared to life, Sarah couldn't help but marvel at how far humanity had come. The Goliath was a marvel of human engineering, born from the ashes of the great resource wars that had nearly torn the planet apart 2 decades ago. It was then, in humanity's darkest hour, that the discovery of an alien artifact buried deep beneath the Antarctic ice changed everything. The artifact, a piece of technology so advanced it defied comprehension, had united the warring nations of Earth in a common purpose. World leaders, scientists, and military strategists came together in an unprecedented global initiative. They reverse-engineered the alien tech, combining it with humanity's own innovations to create the Goliath and its revolutionary propulsion system. As the battle raged on, Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice cut through the din. "Captain, our shields are holding, but we can't take much more of this. Their technology it's beyond anything we've ever seen." Sarah nodded grimly. She had expected as much, but hearing it confirmed sent a chill down her spine. "What about our distress signal to Earth? Any response?" Communications Officer Petal shook her head, her fingers dancing across her console. "Nothing yet, Captain. The alien vessel is broadcasting some kind of interference. We can't break through." Sarah's mind raced. They were alone out here, humanity's first and only line of defense against an enemy they barely understood. The weight of responsibility pressed down on her shoulders, threatening to crush her. But she couldn't falter, not now. The lives of every person on Earth depended on her next move. "Helm, prepare for emergency maneuver Theta 9. Sarah commanded, her voice carrying an edge of steel. "Weapons, stand by to concentrate all fire on my mark." As the crew scrambled to comply, Sarah's thoughts drifted to the classified briefing she received just before this mission. The top minds at Earth Defense Command had theorized that the Zarki might be connected to the creators of the Antarctic artifact. If true, it could explain their advanced technology and potentially offer a key to defeating them. The Goliath executed a series of impossible turns, its inertial dampeners straining to compensate. Sarah watched the main view screen as the massive alien mothership struggled to track them, its energy weapons firing wildly into space. "Now," Sarah shouted, "all weapons, fire!" The supercarrier unleashed its full arsenal, a dazzling array of missiles, energy beams, and experimental weapons born from the fusion of human ingenuity and alien tech. The barrage struck the Zarki ship with pinpoint accuracy, causing explosions to blossom across its hull. For a moment, hope surged through the bridge. Then, to their horror, the damage seemed to melt away, the alien ship's hull reforming as if it had never been touched. "Impossible," Lieutenant Rodriguez whispered, his face pale in the glow of his tactical display. Sarah's mind raced. This technology, this ability to regenerate, it was beyond anything they had imagined. But there had to be a weakness, a flaw they could exploit. Her eyes darted to the sensor readings, searching for any anomaly, any hint of a vulnerability. Suddenly, the ship rocked violently, alarms blaring as systems across the Goliath began to fail. "Report," Sarah demanded, steadying herself against her chair. "They've locked onto us with some kind of tractor beam," Ensign Chen called out, her voice tight with fear. "It's draining our power. Shields are failing, weapons are offline." Sarah's heart pounded in her chest as she watched the massive alien ship grow larger on the view screen. They were being pulled in, helpless as a fish on a line, but she refused to give up. Humanity had faced extinction before and survived. They would find a way out of this too. As the Goliath was drawn inexorably towards the Zarki mothership, Sarah's mind raced through every scrap of information they had gathered about the aliens, every theory and wild speculation. There had to be something they were missing, some key to turning the tables. Just as despair threatened to overwhelm her, a faint memory stirred. Something from the Antarctic artifact, a detail so small it had been dismissed as irrelevant. But now, as she stared into the maw of the alien vessel, about to swallow them whole, Sarah realized it might be their last hope. "Lieutenant Rodriguez," she said, her voice low and urgent. "I need you to recalibrate our sensors. Look for any energy signatures that match the frequency we found encoded in the artifact. It's a long shot, but it might be our only chance." As Rodriguez worked feverishly at his station, Sarah turned to address her crew. Their faces were a mix of fear and determination, a reflection of humanity's spirit in the face of the unknown. Whatever happened next, she knew they would face it together. The Goliath trembled as it crossed the threshold of the alien ship's massive hangar bay. Sarah took a deep breath, steeling herself for whatever came next. The true test of humanity's resilience was about to begin. The Goliath shuddered to a halt inside the cavernous alien hangar. An eerie silence fell over the bridge as the crew held their breath, waiting for the next move in this cosmic chess game. Sarah's eyes darted between the view screen and Rodriguez's console, hoping against hope that his sensor recalibration would yield results. "Captain," Rodriguez whispered, his voice tight with excitement and fear, "I'm picking up something. It's faint, but it matches the artifact's frequency." Sarah's heart raced. "Location. It's coming from deep within the alien ship. But there's more." Rodriguez's fingers flew over his console. "The signal. It's not just a beacon. It's pulsing, almost like it's alive." Before Sarah could respond, the ship's systems suddenly flared back to life. Screens lit up, and the hum of power returned. But something was different. The interface had changed, displaying symbols that were eerily familiar. "It's the same language as the artifact," Ensign Chen gasped, her eyes wide with wonder. Sarah's mind reeled with the implications. Had the ancient technology they discovered on Earth somehow recognized them? Was it protecting them? A low rumble echoed through the ship, and the hangar bay doors began to close. They were being sealed in. "Captain," Communications Officer Patel called out, "we're receiving a transmission, but it's not from the Zarki. It's coming from inside their ship." Sarah nodded, her throat dry. On screen. The view screen flickered, and an image appeared that made the entire bridge crew gasp. It was a human face, aged and weathered, but undeniably human. "Greetings, brave souls of Earth," the man said, his voice carrying the weight of centuries. "I am Dr. Elias Reeves, and I've been waiting a very long time for this moment." Questions exploded in Sarah's mind. How was this possible? A human here on an alien ship light years from Earth? "I know you have questions," Dr. Reeves continued, "but time is short. The Zarki are not what they seem. They are guardians, protectors of a power they don't fully understand, a power that belongs to humanity." Alarms blared suddenly, cutting through the shock of Reeves' revelation. "Captain," Rodriguez shouted, multiple life signs approaching. "They're trying to cut through the hull." Sarah's training kicked in, pushing aside her confusion. Battle stations. Prepare for boarding action. As her crew scrambled to defensive positions, Sarah's mind raced. They were trapped in the belly of an alien vessel, face to face with a mystery that spanned millennia, and on the brink of a battle that could decide the fate of humanity. The sound of metal tearing filled the air as the Zarki forces began to breach the Goliath's hull. Sarah drew her sidearm, her eyes locked on the sealed bridge doors. Whatever came through, they would face it together. "Dr. Reeves," Sarah said, her voice steady despite the chaos, "I don't know who you are or how you're here, but if you can help us, now's the time." The old man's eyes gleamed with a mixture of sorrow and determination. "Captain," he said, "prepare your crew. What happens in the next few moments will change the course of human history forever." As if on cue, the bridge doors began to glow red, the metal warping under an intense heat. Sarah raised her weapon, her crew following suit. The truth behind humanity's place in the cosmos was about to be revealed, and the fate of Earth hung in the balance. The bridge doors exploded inward in a shower of molten metal and sparks. Sarah and her crew braced for the onslaught of alien invaders, but instead of the Zarki, a group of humans in unfamiliar uniforms rushed through the opening. Their leader, a tall woman with silver hair and piercing green eyes, raised her hand in a gesture of peace. "Stand down," she shouted. "We're here to help." Sarah hesitated, her weapon still raised. "Who are you?" she demanded. The woman's lips curved into a wry smile. "I'm Admiral Helena Vasquez of the Terran Temporal Defense Force. And yes, before you ask, we're from your future." A stunned silence fell over the bridge. Sarah's mind reeled, trying to process this new impossibility. First, a human from the distant past, and now visitors from the future. The universe, it seemed, was determined to shatter every preconception she held. "I know this is a lot to take in," Admiral Vasquez continued, her tone softening, "but we don't have much time. The Zarki air." Her words were cut short by a deafening roar that shook the entire ship. The view screen flickered to life, showing the space outside the alien vessel. Sarah's jaw dropped as she saw a massive portal tear open in the fabric of space-time, disgorging ships unlike anything she had ever seen. "No," Vasquez whispered, her face pale. "They followed us." Dr. Reeves' image reappeared on a secondary screen, his expression grim. "The entropy," he said, his voice heavy with dread. "They found us." Sarah's head spun, struggling to keep up with the rapidly escalating situation. "Will someone please explain what the hell is going on?" she demanded. Admiral Vasquez turned to her, her eyes filled with a mixture of determination and fear. "Captain Chen, what you're about to hear will challenge everything you think you know about humanity's place in the universe. The artifact you found, the technology that built this ship. It's all part of a legacy left behind by our ancestors. Not just Earth's ancestors, but the progenitors of life throughout the galaxy." "Humanity," Dr. Reeves chimed in, "or rather, our species in its original form, once spanned the stars. We seeded worlds, built empires, and unlocked the secrets of time itself. But our power came at a cost. The entropy," Vasquez continued, "a force of our own creation, born from our manipulation of time and space. It seeks to undo everything, to return the universe to a state of pure chaos. We've been fighting them across ends, across timelines." Sarah's mind raced, trying to reconcile this cosmic revelation with the battle unfolding around them. "And the Zarki?" she asked. "Guardians," Reeves explained, "creations of our ancestors, left behind to protect key nexus points in space and time. They don't fully understand their purpose, only that they must defend against incursions like ours." A violent tremor rocked the ship, and new alarms blared. Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice cut through the chaos. "Captain, the entropy ships are attacking both us and the Zarki. Their weapons, they're unmaking matter itself." Sarah watched in horror as beams of sickly green energy lanced out from the entropy vessels, causing sections of the Zarki mothership to simply cease to exist. Reality itself seemed to warp and twist in the wake of their attacks. "We need to go now," Vasquez shouted. "This entire sector of space is about to become a temporal dead zone." "Go where?" Sarah demanded. "Our ship is trapped, and even if we could leave, we can't outrun that." She gestured at the scene of destruction unfolding on the view screen. Dr. Reeves' image leaned forward, his eyes blazing with intensity. "To the heart of the Zarki ship, Captain. To the power source that can rewrite the rules of reality itself. It's why I embedded myself here centuries ago, waiting for this moment. You want us to fight our way through an alien ship while reality crumbles around us?" Sarah asked incredulously. Vasquez nodded grimly. "Welcome to the true war for humanity's survival, Captain Chen. A war fought not just across space, but across time itself." As if to punctuate her words, a massive section of the Zarki ship simply vanished, creating a vacuum that began to pull everything toward it. Debris, bodies, and swirling energy filled the void. Sarah looked at her crew, seeing the fear in their eyes but also the determination. They had come too far to give up now. With a deep breath, she made her decision. "All right," she said, her voice steady despite the chaos. "Let's save reality. Mr. Rodriguez, plot us a course to the heart of this ship. We're about to make history, or rewrite it." As her crew sprang into action, Sarah couldn't help but wonder, was this humanity's destiny all along? To stand at the crossroads of time and space, fighting for the very fabric of existence. Whatever the answer, she knew that the next few moments would determine not just the fate of Earth, but of all reality. The Goliath lurched forward, its advanced propulsion systems straining against the chaotic forces tearing the Zarki ship apart. Sarah gripped her command chair, barking orders as her crew navigated through collapsing corridors and fleeing alien defenders. Admiral Vasquez's team took point, their futuristic weapons carving a path through the pandemonium. "We're approaching the ship's core," Rodriguez called out, his voice tight with tension. "But the entropy forces are converging on our position." Sarah's mind raced, processing the impossible situation they found themselves in. "Dr. Reeves," she called out to the ancient scientist's image on the screen, "what exactly are we looking for?" Reeves' eyes gleamed with a mixture of excitement and fear. "The Nexus, Captain. A conduit of pure temporal energy. It's what powers the Zarki ship, and it's our only hope of stopping the entropy." A massive explosion rocked the ship, and Sarah watched in horror as a section of the hull simply ceased to exist, revealing the void of space beyond. The laws of physics seemed to be breaking down around them. "We're here," Vasquez shouted as they burst into a cavernous chamber. At its center floated a pulsing orb of energy, tendrils of light reaching out to touch the walls of the room. "The Nexus," Reeves breathed, his voice filled with awe. But they weren't alone. A group of Zarki stood guard around the Nexus, their weapons trained on the human intruders, and behind them, emerging from swirling portals of sickly green energy, came the entropy forces, beings of twisted matter and warped time. "Now what?" Sarah demanded, her weapon raised as she surveyed the standoff. Vasquez stepped forward, her eyes locked on the Zarki leader. "We don't have time for this. Look around you. Reality itself is unraveling. We're not your enemy. We're the descendants of those who created you." The Zarki leader hesitated, its multiple eyes blinking rapidly as it processed Vasquez's words. But before it could respond, the entropy attacked. Beams of reality warping energy lanced out, narrowly missing the Nexus. "Protect the Nexus," Sarah shouted, and suddenly humans and Zarki found themselves fighting side by side against the encroaching chaos. The battle was like nothing Sarah had ever experienced. Entropy forces phased in and out of existence, their very presence causing localized time distortions. She watched in awe as Vasquez's team utilized technology centuries beyond her own, bending time and space to their will. But they were losing ground. For every entropy being they destroyed, two more took its place. The Nexus pulsed erratically, its energy field fluctuating wildly. "It's destabilizing," Reeves cried out. "If it collapses, this entire sector of space-time will be destroyed." Sarah turned to Vasquez, a desperate plan forming in her mind. The artifact that built the Goliath. It was a piece of this technology, wasn't it? A fragment of the Nexus. Vasquez nodded, realization dawning in her eyes. "Yes, but then the Goliath can interface with it," Sarah interrupted. "We can use our ship to stabilize the Nexus." "It's suicide," Vasquez warned. "The energy feedback would destroy the Goliath and everyone on it." Sarah met her gaze steadily. "But it would save Earth? The timeline?" Vasquez nodded grimly. "It might just work." Without hesitation, Sarah opened a channel to her ship. "This is the captain. All hands, abandon ship immediately. Get to the escape pods." She turned to her bridge crew, who stood resolute beside her. "That means you too. Go now. That's an order." As her crew reluctantly complied, Sarah turned to Rodriguez. "Plot a course directly into the Nexus. We're going to give it everything we've got." The Goliath surged forward, its hull groaning under the strain of the temporal energies swirling around it. Sarah watched as the Nexus grew larger on the view screen, its pulsing light filling her vision. Just before impact, Reeves' voice crackled over the comm. "Captain, wait. There's something you need to know." But it was too late. The Goliath plunged into the heart of the Nexus, and Sarah's world exploded into blinding light. She felt her body being torn apart and reassembled, her consciousness expanding to encompass the vastness of time and space. And in that moment of transcendence, she understood. the truth behind humanity's cosmic legacy, the nature of the entropy, and her own role in the grand tapestry of existence. It all became clear. As the light faded and reality reasserted itself, Sarah found herself standing on the bridge of the Goliath. But it wasn't her Goliath. The technology was different, more advanced. And as she looked out the view screen at a star field she didn't recognize, she realized the incredible truth. They hadn't just saved reality. They had reset it, and humanity's greatest journey was about to begin anew. Sarah blinked, trying to orient herself in this new reality. The bridge of the Goliath hummed with energy, familiar yet different. Her crew materialized around her, looking just as confused. "Captain," Rodriguez said, his voice filled with awe, "where are we?" Before Sarah could respond, a holographic image flickered to life in the center of the bridge. It was Dr. Reeves, but younger, his eyes bright with the excitement of discovery. "Congratulations, Captain Chen and crew of the Goliath," he said, smiling warmly. "If you're seeing this message, then you've successfully navigated the Nexus and reset the cosmic balance. You've given humanity a second chance." Sarah stepped forward, her mind racing with questions. "Dr. Reeves, what exactly happened? Where are we?" The hologram's smile widened. "You're at the beginning, Captain. Or rather, a new beginning. When you merged the Goliath with the Nexus, you didn't just save your Earth. You rewrote the entire timeline. The entropy has been pushed back to the farthest reaches of time and space, giving us the opportunity to prepare for their eventual return." Sarah looked out at the unfamiliar stars, a mix of excitement and trepidation filling her. "And this ship? It's not the same Goliath we left Earth in, is it?" Reeves shook his head. "No, it's much more than that now. The Goliath has been transformed, integrated with the power of the Nexus itself. It's become humanity's Ark, a vessel capable of seeding life across the galaxy and defending against future threats." The implications were staggering. Sarah turned to her crew, seeing the same mix of emotions on their faces. They were no longer just explorers or defenders of Earth. They had become guardians of life itself. "What about Earth?" Lieutenant Rodriguez asked, voicing the concern they all shared. "Our families, our home." Reeves' expression softened. "Earth is safe, but different. The changes you've made to the timeline have accelerated humanity's development. By the time you return, centuries will have passed. Earth will have become part of a thriving interstellar civilization, the one you've given them the chance to build." Sarah felt a pang of loss, knowing they could never return to the world they'd left behind. But the opportunity before them, the chance to shape the future of humanity among the stars, filled her with a sense of purpose. "So what now?" she asked, squaring her shoulders. Reeves' hologram gestured to the stars visible through the view screen. "Now, Captain, you explore. You seek out new worlds to seed with life, establish outposts to monitor for signs of the entropy's return, and prepare humanity for its role as guardians of the galaxy." As the hologram faded, Sarah turned to her crew. She saw determination replacing confusion in their eyes, the weight of their new responsibility settling on their shoulders. "Well," she said, a small smile tugging at her lips, "I guess we have our orders. Mr. Rodriguez, set a course for the nearest habitable system. Lieutenant Chen, begin cataloging the Goliath's new capabilities. We've got a lot to learn about our new ship." As the crew sprang into action with renewed purpose, Sarah took a moment to reflect on the incredible journey that had brought them to this point. From a desperate battle above Earth to becoming the architects of humanity's cosmic destiny, it was almost too much to comprehend. Yet as she watched her crew work, their faces alight with the thrill of discovery, Sarah felt a surge of pride and hope. They had been tested in the crucible of an impossible war, and they had emerged stronger, wiser, and united in purpose. The Goliath surged forward, its new engines humming with the power of the Nexus. As they approached their first unexplored star system, Sarah felt a familiar excitement building in her chest. This was what they were meant for: to explore, to protect, to ensure that life would flourish across the vastness of space. "Captain," Rodriguez called out, his voice filled with wonder, "I'm detecting signs of primitive life on the third planet of this system." Sarah nodded, a smile spreading across her face. "Then let's introduce ourselves, shall we? Carefully, of course. We've got a lot to teach them about the wonders and dangers that await among the stars." As the Goliath entered orbit around the alien world, Sarah looked out at her crew, no, her family, and felt a sense of profound gratitude. They had saved not just Earth, but all of reality. And now they had the chance to shape it, to nurture it, to help it grow into something beautiful and enduring. The journey ahead would be long and filled with challenges, but as Sarah gave the order to prepare a landing party, she knew that whatever the universe had in store for them, they would face it together. For they were no longer just the crew of the Goliath. They were the guardians of life, the shepherds of humanity's destiny among the stars. And their greatest adventure was just beginning.